You guys, the presser yesterday, oh my God, it was chaos. So we're going to start off with just kind of a little bit of chaos, and then we're just going to get more and more chaotic. Okay. So KJP did not have a good day yesterday, not at all. And it was a joy to watch, honestly. It was a joy. So, so first of all, related to the Joe and Mika call, there were points, and I didn't play these specific clips, but there were points in that call where you could hear Joe Biden rustling paper. Okay. And then he even admitted at one point that he was reading from a list of like Trump lies or something. And then there was another moment where he was trying to defend how often he's been out on the campaign trail since the debate. And he said, you could tell he was reading because he said, the president and the first lady I went to so-and-so. Like you could just tell that he was reading from prepared notes. Mm-hmm. So KJP was asked, was there a script? And she denied it. Here she is.
Call today to MSNBC. Yeah, sure. Was the president reading off of a script?
So I was in the room when the president called into Morning Joe. The president spoke from his heart. The president was very clear. There was no script at all. And he was very detailed. You heard him say actually during the call that he was reading some quotes. He said it. He shared that information. He was reading some quotes from the debate. So he shared that with you. What you heard was a passionate interview. It was about 18 minutes. He talked about and laid out his vision for this country. He talked about how he wants to make sure we move forward. I want to be really careful because he also talked about the campaign, which I can't do from here. But he I think it was incredibly powerful.
So powerful. It was very, very powerful, you guys. The screaming and the senility, so powerful. She lies. She's lying. There was a bunch of crap written down. He was told, yes, of course he was reading.
And then there was all the hullabaloo about whether he's been seen by a doctor, whether he's had a recent exam before or after the debate. She has changed her story multiple times about this. Mm-hmm. And the press corps is getting super fed up. So there was the question asked about White House credibility, and couldn't she see that it's kind of shaky right now, given that she's constantly changing her story? Here's how she addressed that.
Not from a script?
Nope, it was not a script.
In a big boy press conference, how many questions?
Sorry, that was the end of
First, she was on the credibility of this White House when it comes to talking about the president's health. When you were here last Tuesday, you were asked if the president had any medical examinations since his physical in February, or that included the time period after the debate. You said flatly no. 3 days later, you admitted the president had a quote, short check-in with the medical team thereafter. I mean, those are two very different answers.
No. Actually, if you were to listen to I think I did a 30-minute gaggle on Friday, 30 minutes with I think it was with the pool, and I said he did not have a medical. I cleared it up. You're right. You're correct. I said he didn't. I still stand, but he didn't have a medical exam. I said that in the gaggle, and you're right. I said that in the briefing. He had a check-in with, and he said this on Friday. He had a check-in with his medical doctor, which is something that he does a couple times a week, as you know, and I stated this as well.
There are thousands.
She's just buying time and stalling and using all the filler words. It's unreal.
Do you guys check in with your doctor a couple times a week? Do you do that?
3 or 4 at least.
Do you do that? No, seriously. That's it's a legit question. And then also on Daily Mail this morning, I read something about how they've had visits from a Parkinson's doctor.
Yeah, that's next. So that's the reason for the chaos. Mm-hmm. So there's been, and specifically, I think there's been 8 or 9 visits by this specific doctor, this neurologist who is an expert on Parkinson's. Yep. And there was also a meeting between that neuro and Joe Biden's regular physician. And that is what the press had questions about. They wanted to know what was the purpose of that meeting. She would not answer the question. And there was this moment where I don't know who the reporter is, it was a woman who was just like, you could clear this up so easily. Why won't you? She's trying to pretend it's over privacy issues, even though the logs are very clear. They're open to the public, who's there, who's meeting with who. And so this does not
listen,
hold any water.
And bottom line, it's when it comes to the president, I'm sorry, we don't care about his privacy. His health is our concern.
Exactly.
So the privacy thing, it's off the table. Because I should know everything about this guy's health. I'm serious. Like, it's like an Olympic athlete at this point. I should know if something's wrong with his urine. And if that offends people, tough, because he is the leader of the free world. I need to know that physically he's up for the job. And so his physical being is my business.
Yeah. It's all of our business.
It is my business.
Our safety depends on it.
Absolutely.
So we are allowed to know. So the fact that she was dancing around this question, it did not do her well.
Thousands within the Walter Reed system who may be treated by a specialist who visits here at the White House. But this neurologist had a meeting with the president's physician, with his doctor. You're refusing to say if he was here to evaluate the president or if he was consulting on the president's health. So what then was that meeting about?
And I will say that Dr. O'Connor leads the medical unit. He leads the medical unit. No, because we will not confirm or speak to names that you're providing to me. It is out of security reason, is out of protecting someone's privacy. We're just not going to do that. But they are. The reason that I mention that is because there are 1,000 military members that do indeed use the White House medical unit. They do. They get care from that.
We're talking about the president of the United States.
Guys, I'm trying to answer the question so you can connect the dot that there are multiple neurologists that come, not neurologists, specialists that come through here because there are more than 1,000 medical military personnel here.
But you certainly could clear this all up just by saying what he was doing here and if it was connected to the president. Yes or no?
I am not going to confirm.
She's lying.
A particular neurologist, anybody. It doesn't matter if they're a dermatologist or a neurologist. I'm just not going to do that. I shared with all of you that the president has been with the neurologist 3 times as it relates to his physical, 3 times. So, I'm just not going to do that out of security reasons, out of privacy.
That's such bullshit.
It is not something that I'm going to do. A measure of privacy we have to be able to give people from here.
Nope. You don't get privacy. You don't get it. I feel that way. I don't care if it's Joe Biden. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care if it's George Bush. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Reagan. Seriously, it doesn't matter. When you're the president, you give that up. If I ran for president, I would expect that of myself. Everybody's going to know all my health stuff. That's part of the deal. And if you don't like that, don't run for president.
Exactly.
That's part of the deal. Seriously, that's how I feel about it. We pay your salary. You're an employee. I need to know that you're healthy enough to do the job. It's like, if you're running for president, you got to disclose all of that. That's it.
There is actually reason for some panic when it comes to the economy, because look at what Biden has done to it, right? And so now the dollar is weak across the world, and particularly in Saudi Arabia, who used to sell oil in dollars, and now they're like, no, we'll sell it in other. Everything about the dollar is crumbling thanks to Joe Biden and his weak ass presidency as a whole. And so there has never been a better time to think about gold or other precious metals, but particularly gold, and specifically gold from Birch Gold, that's the company that we trust. It's the company that does a better job than anybody else at educating you and informing you about why you might want to have gold in your portfolio, whether it's physical or whether it's an IRA, whether you want to move an entire 401k over into gold or just a part of it. You have so much flexibility with Birch Gold, and you can get a free information kit which will help you understand why it might be beneficial for you just by texting the word chicks to 989898. That'll allow you to claim your free info kit, and then you can read it and then decide if it's for you or not. There's no obligation. When you text the word chicks to 989898, you just get information. That's it. And then if you don't want to do anything with it, totally fine. Totally no obligation. So please check it out. Text chicks to 989898. It got worse from there. So then CBS's Ed O'Keefe, I think is his name. He was just not having it. He finally broke. She broke him. And he was just pushing back in a way that was unbelievable to watch. So this is when the chaos really got heated. I'll just let it play.
It's a very basic, direct question.
Wait. Hold on. Wait a second.
Eight times, or at least once, in regards to the president specifically.
Hold on a second.
Not what you should be able to answer by this point.
Wait, no. No, wait a minute. Ed, please. A little respect here, please. So every year, around the president's physical examination, he sees a neurologist. That's 3 times, right? So I am telling you that he has seen a neurologist 3 times while he has been in this presidency. That's what I'm saying. I am telling you that he has seen them 3 times. That is what I'm sharing with you, right? So every time he has a physical, he has had to see a neurologist. So that is answering that question. No, it's not. No, it is. It is. You're asking me.
Kevin Kennard come to the White House.
But I also said to you, Ed, I also said to you, for security reasons, we cannot share names. We cannot share names. We have to.
Others he would have met with.
We
but
cannot,
you can share names in regards to if someone came here in regards to the president.
We cannot share names of specialists broadly.
Both.
From a dermatologist to a neurologist. We cannot share names. There are security reasons. We have to protect. I understand that. I hear you.
Right there for anyone to see.
Ed, I hear you. I cannot from here confirm any of that because we have to keep their privacy. I think they would appreciate that too. We have to give them.
The doctor.
We have to keep their privacy.
It is
It's
public.
public information.
I hear you.
And you're going to allow this to fester longer, Karine, unless the White House answers the question.
Hold on a second. There's no reason to go back and forth and be in this aggressive way.
Miffed around here about how information's been shared with the press corps about him.
What are you missed about? What are you missed about?
Everything he just asked about.
Idiot.
And then every time I come back and I answer the question that you guys asked.
Correctly, you didn't have to come back and clean it up.
I never answered the question incorrectly. That is not true. I was asked about a medical exam. I was asked about a physical. That was in the line of question that I answered. And I said, no, he did not have a medical exam. And I still stand by that. Matter of fact, the president still stands by that. He had a verbal check-in. That is something that the president has a couple times a week. A couple times a week.
Now in regards to Dr. Kevin Kennard.
And I am telling you right now that I am not sharing confirming names from here. It is a security reasons. I am not going to do that, Ed. It doesn't matter how hard you push me. It doesn't matter how angry you get with me. I'm not going to confirm a name. It doesn't matter if it's even in the log. I am not going to do that from here. That is not something I am going to do. What's what we...
You know, I have a personal belief that everybody has like they have an individual tolerance for bullshit. You know, like everybody's different. I just truly believe that. And the press corps, their tolerance is 3.5 years.
As we can see,
that's what it is.
They've had enough.
They've had enough. That's it. They've seen it. We just watched it. We just watched it in real time, right?
And she never called on Peter Doocy at all yesterday because I think she was getting the heat from so many others. She was like, I can't even deal with that level.
So many others that aren't right wingers. That it's
my favorite thing is when people on Twitter actually transcribe her answers, and it is such a jumbled mess of crap when you see it actually written out.
It's Kamala on paper.
It totally is.
Yeah.
And then she was so offended by that whole interaction with Ed that she took a moment of personal privilege, almost tearful. Like you can hear in her voice that she's emotional about this, to talk about how hard she works, you guys, at bringing information.
And we understand that freedom of the press, we respect the freedom of the press. You heard me talk about this last week.
I'm sure you do.
I appreciate the back and forth that we all have. I try to respect you, and I hope you try to respect me.
Yeah, right.
And we literally do everything that we can. My team does everything that we can to make sure we get the answers to you. Yeah. That's what we do. And sometimes we disagree. Sometimes we are not in agreement. But you know what? That's democracy. That is what is important, to have that healthy back and forth.
Democracy.
And so to say that I'm holding information or allude to anything else is not unfair. It's really, really unfair. I think people who are watching and have been watching this briefing for this past week could say that we are doing our best in this briefing to provide the information that we have. And I will admit, I will be the first one to admit, sometimes I get it wrong. At least I admit that.
What?
At least I admit that. And sometimes I don't have the information. And I will always admit that. But I do take offense to what was just happening at the beginning of this briefing. It's not okay.
Oh my God.
Not okay, you guys.
She's not afraid to say this. Sometimes she doesn't have the information. What? Are you serious, KJP? What? Listen, she works really hard to read things from a binder. It's really hard to do that, you guys.
She's so woefully incompetent.
So inept.
Oh my
So
God.
completely inept. She has no idea how to do this job. None.